It will indeed. There's not much really.
Even a draw.
Yeah,
even a draw is not enough for Kanga.
Even a draw. So they need to come out with the victories here, and they need to start it on Horizon Lunar Colony. So we're going to get right into the action. This map picked by Kanga, which means Melbourne, of course, getting to pick their side. I'd almost always start off on defense, Jordan.
Yep.
Got the Wrecking Ball here on Winter as well.
Huh. Very heavy dive composition out for Melbourne Mavericks here. I do love a bit of Wrecking Ball. Let's see how it works out. Maybe not expected from Kanga Esports there, but straight away we see the Ana on the other side and a very good counter to the Wrecking Ball. Winter needs to reorient himself. The GPS not working in the ball as he runs straight into a wall, which is a very good counter to the ball. And oh goodness me, come on Winter. Have you never played Wrecking Ball before?
Where are we going? We're going for a tour. Get some Twitch tours in the chat. Here we go. Going to come out with a pole driver once again. That one's a little bit more successful, but Kanga have essentially been able to walk onto the map here, Jordan, and someone's going to have to do something somewhere. They're going to try and stop this. There we go. Third time's the charm. Randy goes down, but not before Davey does find Mini. When they're going to get back off in the ball. And they're already 1/3 of the way through for now. With Oily going down as well, it looks like Kanga's going to find the point.
Oh, he's got the minefield, so let's see if he decides to use it. Looks like it's going to come out after the slam. Again, you'd probably want to be throwing it before the slam, but now spinning around is Winter. Not sure how long this is going to last. Putting a lot of pressure on those supports, though, and he might even finish them off. Let's get Candace. Swilko goes down as well. Winter gets 2, but I'm not sure that it's enough to hold on to the point.
No, probably 2 more than he perhaps should have got there in that scenario as well. But they'll count, as will point A going across to Kanga and doing so in some pretty good time.
That was a very fleeting moment of the Wrecking Ball, but unfortunately it is going to be swapped off very quickly here. Winter straight away onto Doomfist. Nox does have EMP here, so we'll see how that is going to be used. Perhaps allow Kanga a little bit further up onto the high ground before throwing it out. No, they're going to go through lower. Still going to be a pretty easy EMP here for Nox, but he's spotted by Sad Boy. Has to get out of there. The EMP not ideal. Still, the follow-up from Melbourne Mavericks looks good.
It does indeed. Nox going to jump up into the high ground and try and chase down the rest of the team. It's Minnie who gets caught out here by Render as well. So that really won't make much difference, one would suspect. Still almost 6 minutes on the clock here in Kanga. They've got a ton of ultimates in the back pocket here, Elfishguy. They're ready for a nice quick push here onto point B.
Well, slow and steady wins the race for Kanga Esports. Not too quick just yet, but inevitably they will make their way in. And you're right, there is a lot to play with right now for Kanga. Graviton Surge out now from them. Melbourne Mavericks don't have the response, but they do have the Transcendence.
Oh,
doesn't help against the self-destruct, though, as Sad Boy will find 2 and the D-Mech.
Look, Jordan, if there's one way to capture a control point here in Assault, it's by picking up the majority of your opponents in one clean fell swoop.
That's what you need to do when it is onto Assault. A clean wipe is what you need to fully cap the point out right now. Melbourne Mavericks holding on for dear life. It was going to be the Meteor Strike out from Winter. Doesn't really achieve a whole lot. The Fire Strike to actually finish him off. And Davey is having the time of his life right now, just holding down left click with the Reinhardt.
Yeah,
inevitably EMP out, but not enough.
No, not enough indeed. Kanga very, very quick. We haven't actually seen a much quicker 2 phases here, I think, of Horizon Lunar Colony than what we've seen just then.
Yeah, that's a very good time indeed. 4:46 left on the clock. It's not the best time that we've ever seen.
Still pretty good.
But it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And Melbourne Mavericks have to respond in kind. Looks like Winter wants to go on to the Wrecking Ball once again. Can't say I'm disappointed. What does Nox use to round this composition out? Sombra again could be an option.
I'm ready for a Bastion.
Never mind, it'll be a Zarya.
Oh well, I'll take that too. The Zarya, again, I feel is so many big plays coming out of Zarya the last couple of days. The very nature of this team comp as well, I think, suits the Zarya. Obviously, that's why she's there, but it does allow for some pretty big plays, big Graviton surges.
Well, the nature of the opposing team comp as well sort of suits Zarya because she can charge up so quickly on not only her energy, but also her ultimate, because there's so much health to burn through. There's also so much sort of just spam kind of going out from all of the characters that she's going to face against. It's pretty easy to charge the bubble up.
It's kind of the opposite of running a Moira with quad tank, right? But there's so much health that your opponents have.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just right-clicking for days.
Lush on the Widowmaker. See how that goes against the GOAT's composition. Again, not sure that I'm hugely sold on Widowmaker in this current meta.
No, you certainly do not like it. I bet you yell at everyone you play with, Jordan. They bring out the Widow.
No one actually plays Widow at the moment. At least not in my ranked games.
They do in Overwatch Contenders Australia. Render up here with the Junkrat. Prime position. See if he can find any picks. Be looking towards his ultimate, getting charged up as well. Melbourne, look, they don't want to waste too much time here, Jordan, because B can be very difficult to get in control of, so they want to make the most of their time. Kanga have a lot of time in their pocket right now.
Yeah, in comes the dive there. Lush does dispatch a Fluoro. Well, if you can get picks like that, then definitely the Widowmaker is going to work out. Render following up with quite a few of his own on that Junkrat. Riptire should come out, not in this fight, but in the next fight definitely is going to be something that Melbourne Mavericks have to think about. That's a very strong, solid first hold out from Kanga Esports.
It is indeed the Riptire, looking strong, ready to go, still available for this next fight. It's going to make life pretty tough here if Render can do some sick Riptire play. I'm ready for it, my body's ready. Also ready for Forbles to destroy it.
Let's see what happens here for Render. All pulled in by the Hulk, just the one for Forbles, but
I'll take it.
That's fine. Render will be happy with that.
Yep. Melbourne going to walk into the point for now. But they are down one support player. Lack of heals. And Mini's picked up as well. No tank. See you later. So Kanga getting the picks. Melbourne going to need to reset here, Jordan. This is not the start that Melbourne wanted on their attacking side, that is for sure. Kanga, on the other hand, seem very confident here on Horizon.
Certainly do. 2 minutes left on the clock here for Melbourne Mavericks. Starting to get a little bit dire for them. They'll be coming up on the ults shortly, but Kanga Esports have already come up on theirs. Neither of the DPS ultimates available, more specifically, no Riptire for this fight out from Render, so that big punch to just win the fight straight away isn't necessarily going to be an option for them this time. Lush finds the pick on Nox, though. Definitely having more success on the Widowmaker than anyone before him so far this season of Contenders.
Certainly has 3 ultimates available here for Kanga on defense. That should be enough to save the day should they need it. 1 minute 20 is not a lot of time to work with either, Jordan, particularly if they can slow them down and make this fight extended, prolonged, and then, you know, just take their time.
Lush gets another pick. This is exactly why you pick Widowmaker, to find those kills that can make or break the fight or even stop it before it starts.
Yeah.
Kills onto support, so massive. And this is starting to look very bad indeed for Melbourne Mavericks. 53 seconds. It's all that they have to play with.
I don't know what Kanga did at halftime, Jordan, but it definitely worked. Probably pulled out a Macca's run or something. That'll do it for sure.
Render almost up onto the Riptire as well. Melbourne Mavericks have so much to think about here, and they've already lost Mini. Yep. Surely this fight can't go well for them.
Oh, Riptire's pulled out here as well. This is surely going to find a couple. Nox and Forbles both going down to that one. Well, Sad Boy is going to stagger out Oily as well. Won't even bother chasing down the Baby Diva.
Yeah, no reason really to at this point. They're going to have to push in 5v6. If Oily doesn't get the Baby Diva back.
Yeah.
Or the Mecha, I should say. Few ults to work with, though, for Melbourne Mavericks. If they were going to make any push work, it would be this one. Mini's stuck in a trap, though, and he'll be deleted.
No Winston, no hope is what I'm going to say here, Jordan. One last chance for Melbourne to get this across the line, but it is not looking good. We're into overtime. Winter is down. Render is down as well. Maybe Nox is doing the work that they need. One last hope. Lush on the high ground, but you can't really contest the point here as a Widowmaker. Mini onto the Wrecking Ball, Jordan. Will it be enough? They're going to capture point A.
Oh dear, this is awful actually for Kanga. They're going to get staggered. They're going to get stuck at point B. Look at this. Melbourne Mavericks, they're going to walk through the open front door. And Kanga Esports, they're still running through the front yard.
Hello? Is somebody home?
No. No is the answer.
This is the story of Goldilocks, Jordan. She's in there, she's eaten all your food, she's now sleeping in all of your beds, and you're like, what the heck are you doing here?
That's exactly what you're like right now if you're Kanga Esports Melbourne Mavericks. They've got just a small tick to go. Render with the Riptide, though, he might have just saved the day. Mini and Fluoro do go down. As long as they can keep control of this point, they will continue to find advantages. Now it starts to tick below 3 minutes. Almost a quick enough assault onto the second point from Kanga, or from Melbourne, to really put the pressure onto Kanga. But as we see now, that fight won inevitably by Kanga Esports, and almost 2 minutes of an advantage now.
Man.
Bare minimum for Kanga, should Melbourne finish things off here.
I can't believe Kanga almost held that at A and then almost lost it immediately at B. It's the very nature of Assault, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Winter down, Mini down. Oily at least brings one back. They're caught up inside that Graviton field. Graviton Surge, Jordan, in the corner of the point.
Nox has done so much work just there solo.
Nox doing very, very well, picking up all of the kills.
No one's going to get there in time.
Wow.
Capped out by Melbourne Mavericks. At the end of the day, that actually could have been a whole lot worse. They almost didn't cap out first, and then they kind of end by capping out second in a pretty respectable time. 2 minutes 28. It's obviously nothing compared to 4:46, but there is still possibility for Melbourne Mavericks to challenge in here. There's enough time to cap out multiple points.
Much worse. Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? Enough time to get through both A and B if you're quick about it.
And we know Horizon Lunar Colony is one that can be very snowbally. If you cap that first point out, you can kind of just steamroll into second as well.
Yeah, as we just saw.
So, this ain't over yet.
No.
Kanga definitely making a good fight back in that halftime, though. This is exactly what they needed to do. I would have loved to have held it on that first point, though, but it is what it is. They still have a very big advantage right now. Melbourne Mavericks back on to attack.
Yeah, they are indeed. Don't worry what the little icons up the top say. That is not the case. Melbourne don't have much time to work with, so they're going to try make something of this the first time around. 2 minutes 30. It's not that much time.
It's not, but it is.
It's enough to do something great, Jordan.
It can be, but it can't. It's such a conundrum.
Yeah.
We won't know until the first point is taken whether or not this is going to look really doable for Melbourne Mavericks if the first point is taken.
Well, it's all in their hands right now.
It's all on this first couple of fights as well.
Yeah, what Kanga can do here on defense. They've got a Widow out as well, trying to find Winter, not going to be successful. Melbourne going around the left-hand side of the point, going to waltz right back on top right now. Render on the Junkrat. Would love to just keep firing through the middle of that hole and picking up kills, but for now, it's not working out in that fashion. 1/3 of the way through.
Render's stuck.
Yeah. Look, the pick's going in favour of Melbourne right now.
Well, this is what happens when you pick the Widowmaker and you don't find the picks. It just is not enough of a front line or even sort of a back line, a midfield even, for Melbourne to really deal with. They just steamroll over Kanga Esports. They're up to 2 minutes and 9 seconds to try and cap second. Going into it with a sound barrier pretty much up there for Fluoro. Winter with the rally, so it'll be a very, very tanky composition for Melbourne Mavericks that Kanga have to deal with. Not a whole lot here. Render looking for the rip tire as soon as he can get it.
Lush in the back line here with the Sombra, trying to charge up that EMP.
2 ticks,
it's going to take a while.
Who's on the point?
Ever closer. No one's on the point, really. They're going to use the rip tire. Doesn't find anyone at all. Melbourne very close, 92.5%. Jordan Lush is down. Mini's about to jump onto the point as well. This Primal Rage is going to be available, and that might be enough here to secure them B.
Looks like it will be. Just a matter of time before Kanga falls over. Mini booping them all away. And Melbourne Mavericks, what a fast attack again. They've gone through. They still got a time bank, even after OT number 2.
Yes, they do. Considering how they started off, to see that there is still time available for Melbourne is quite astounding. For Kanga now, 4 minutes 46, plus a 30-second boost. Should they find the first point?
Essentially cost Melbourne Mavericks 1 minute.
Yeah.
Because they came in with 2 minutes 28. They leave with 1 minute 23. Obviously, they get a little bit of time after capping point A.
Yeah.
But not much of a loss. Hey, they could do it again.
Let's just keep going.
We got another minute 23 on the clock. That's all we need to cap out 2 points. So for Kanga, now they have to cap both points again. And then we'll be into overtime, what, 2? I guess overtime 3?
I feel like this is a replication of the games I play in Ranked, where you do well at the start on Horizon, and then your opponent's attack, you're holding out A, it's into overtime, they cap it out, and they just roll on through to B, and you're like, well, that's disappointing.
Happens every time.
Yeah. I get so tilted. So hopefully Kanga aren't tilted at this point.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can just regroup, settle themselves down.
Still the whole series to play for here for Kanga.
They have the advantage as well, Jordan. 4 minutes 46, that's a ton of time.
You do it in another 2 minutes, you're still going to have 2 minutes advantage over Melbourne Mavericks.
Yeah.
It ain't over just yet, Kanga Esports. Let's see what they can do on their own attack. Full Goats comp. He enters with the Ana, just the variant. Nothing big of a change up from Kanga Esports. Charging right onto the site. Exactly what they need to do. Haven't lost a player yet.
Nope. Going to walk straight onto A here,
Nox
Jordan.
has got no charge at all. He's used up both of his bubbles.
As indeed, Render looking low for now. Might be the first one down. Stays alive. Oily about to get demeched, if not very, very careful here as well. There you go. Lush finds the pick. Winter brings one back. Tank for a support. Not sure which one's better at the moment. Well, with Davey gone, that's definitely less than ideal here for Kanga as well. And their first attack is not going to be successful.
Does not look like it at this stage. Look at how much that has built up for Melbourne Mavericks as well. 4 ultimates. Almost a 5th there for Fluoro Mini. Only the only one really missing out on all the damage. Melbourne Mavericks have got a lot to hold off here with. That said, Kanga Esports also starting to come up on a few. An explosive point A. Probably this next push is the one where Kanga Esports will really dump everything. Rally
popped here by Render. Kanga going to make another effort of it here. Going to walk straight back onto the point, but not before the Graviton Surge catches them out right in the middle. A grab for a grab. Who's going to come out on top? For now, it looks like Melbourne. David down, Sad Boy demeched as well. No tanks, no hope, Jordan.
Yeah, an attempt there from Lush to kind of counter out the grab with his own, but it won't work out too nicely at all. Davey, if he would have built up a Earth Shatter, there was maybe an opportunity for him to turn that fight back in the favor of Kanga Esports, but not the case, and so he'll have to wait until this fight. Good rotations from Melbourne Mavericks. They do have self-destruct, of course, as well as Primal Rage, so some good time-wasting ultimates. Sound barrier in there to keep themselves alive. Again, another attempt here from Kanga Esports, taking the same avenue of attack.
Doing the same thing over and over again. That's the nature of Ghost. You got so much HP, you can just walk on through to the point.
Nice boot.
Yeah, Oily. Self-destruct finds Lush. Davey, you can see, does have both the Earth Shatter and the Nano Boost. Is it going to get the picks that Kanga need here, Jordan? I am not so sure right now. Going to try and find the Diva, a Diva that gets bubbled. You can see Lucio as well. That's Wilco using the sound barrier, trying to keep the team alive. They're not having much success until now. They're finding 1, 2, looking for a third pick, Jordan. That might be enough to get Kanga point A.
The iconic Brigida versus Brigida battle. Who will die first? Looks like it will be Winter. And they're inevitably getting a bit of backup there from Swilco. Kanga Esports going to be able to cap this first point out. So, if they make a very solid push into the second point, they'll have roughly the same amount of time as Melbourne Mavericks did at the end of their turn. Maybe just a little bit less. But, you know, 40 seconds to a minute here is the time where Kanga would want to cap in.
Momentum, though, do they? They didn't just roll into the point like we saw Melbourne do.
Not quite, but they do have an Earth Shatter. They do have a Self-Destruct. 2 ults that, if used perfectly, really can open this one up. That's a Nano Boost from Forballs.
Right into the middle of the battle. But if you Nano Boosted swing your hammer around, you can't stop the Self-Destruct. Winter knocks Mini Winter. Look at that. So many kills coming out for Melbourne right now. They're going to stop Kanga in their tracks.
Yeah, that's a big deal defense as well for Melbourne, as it allows time for Nox to build the grab up and the Reinhardt Shatter to come up for Mini as well. Much more solid looking defense to be posted in the next fight here from Melbourne. That one a little bit shaky off the back of just 4 walls. And he was able to get the Nano Boost down. Good work from Mini to block the Shatter as well.
Yeah.
Kanga Esports now starting to push in against the odds. A minute 14 left on the clock. Maybe it's not going to be doable.
They are starting to run out of time, Jordan. They need to win this map to keep themselves in this match. Otherwise, Melbourne are going to be 3-0 up, heading into the 4th and final map. Graviton Surge coming out from Melbourne. They've already lost Winter, almost Mini, almost Oily as well. Sad Boy doing some work. Graviton Surge coming out from Kanga. They've lost 2, but Melbourne have lost 3. Melbourne at least had that spawn advantage, but no real ultimate advantage to work with right now. If Fluoro can get up to 100%, he won't. Oh. Maybe Kanga finds this point, Jordan.
Yeah, Winter getting shadowed there by Davey. Still no point capped up. No tick at all just yet for Kanga Esports. The longer this goes on, the better it is for the Melbourne Mavericks. Trying to push it through. Self-destruct now coming out as well. That won't connect anything. Davey protecting the team with the shield. And again, Melbourne Mavericks will just throw their bodies at this point. A sound barrier down from both sides. Not necessarily favorable for either. Lash, if he can get the minefield up, could be huge to push Melbourne Mavericks off the point. But at the moment, it's just a case of staying alive and getting those kills. Everybody's finding kills at the moment. It's just an absolute vomit on the kill feed.
It is indeed, just like us talking, Jordan, to be perfectly honest. But it looks to me like in this particular situation, Kanga are going to be able to keep their food down and capture themselves this point. But if they do it, it's going to be in overtime.
Yeah, but at least that'll still give them the chance. That's what I'm talking about with the minefield. Being able to find 2 Melbourne Mavericks, they just have to fight on the point. But they can't when the mines are there. And inevitably, Kanga Esports are going to camp out, finish off the 4th round there as well.
I can't believe Lush found 3 kills with the minefield.
Goodness me.
Squishy supports, mate.
What a time to be alive. Well,
yeah.
No time left remaining because they do cap it in the overtime, which does mean for Kanga Esports now, they're going to have to hold off completely to secure a draw.
Yeah.
And that also means that they cannot now win the series. Even if this draw does come to pass, it'll be 2-0. 1 match to play.
Imagine if this match was 2-1, and that was the score. And it came down
to a draw.
Yeah, came down to a draw. It came down to the fact that no matter what Kanga did today, it wasn't enough. It was close.
Well, that's what it is right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could literally be that close. 2-1 out of 4 maps.
Could still be 3-0 for Melbourne Mavericks, though.
It could indeed. Whatever the score is, Jordan, each of these maps have been so very close.
Indeed, but Melbourne Mavericks now can just try and cap things out. And that'll be that. That'll be 3-0.
I just go back to remembering that Kanga had 4.5 minutes on the clock and they almost held Melbourne out at the first point.
Yep. That's the kind of thing that you play over in your mind as well as a player, I'm sure. Kanga Esports once again running the exact same defense. Lush, very good in the first phase. But then the second attempt on the attack from Melbourne Mavericks, he didn't really do a whole lot. So let's see if he's going to be able to have the impact this time. Render starting off against Mini. The trap, nicely done. The double line onto Nox.
Indeed it is. That certainly stops the tanks pushing around the corner there, doesn't it, Jordan?
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with goats going left if you walk into a steel trap and you lose one of your tanks straight away.
Well, 57 seconds left, or now 50 for Melbourne Mavericks, and they've achieved absolutely nothing in that first attempt, short of charging up Render's ultimate. Nicely done from Lush.
This is precisely what the Widow needed to do, Jordan. You talked about it before.
And they've run into the trap again.
Yeah. Second time is definitely not the charm here. They've got one more attack. Kanga, if they hold out, if they stop Melbourne from finding 1/3 of a tick here on point A, we have a draw. Melbourne, on the other hand, they just need to find 33%. If they do, they get the victory. It all comes down to this.
This is the final fight, and Melbourne Mavericks have got absolutely bugger all left in their back pocket. They are literally just going to have to run onto the point and hope for the best. Lash has got the infrasight out. That's info for Kanga Esports, and knowledge is power. Render, here he comes with the Riptide to shut things down, to finish it off and secure the tie for Kanga Esports. It is going to be 3 players already dropped for Melbourne Mavericks, and Kanga Esports should, at the very least, secure the 3-0 bare minimum.
Yeah, well, they will be able to hold out here. That is for sure. And after all of that work, Elfishguy, after everything that we put into this, that Kanga put into this, that Melbourne put into this, we come out with a draw here.
Come out with nothing.
On Horizon Lunar Colony. But the reality is that Melbourne don't come out with nothing. They come out with a victory. They are now 2-0 up going into our 4th and final map here. up against Kanga. So congratulations to the Melbourne Mavericks. Pick up their first ever game here in Contenders.
Yeah, the bare minimum now, at least, though, for Kanga Esports is that it's going to be a 3-0 for Melbourne Mavericks. They won't get 4-0'd in their first match of the season. I think right now, though, for Kanga, based on how close this series is, you really want to be pushing through and getting at least one map on the board to show something for all the effort that's been put in here. I mean, we have the triple overtime then there on Horizon Lunar Colony. We have an overtime on Numbani. 2-1 on Control. The series could barely get any closer than it is right now. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, really, Kanga have actually got nothing to show for it.
They have some sick plays, Jordan, and they have the fact that we now know that they're actually not playing that badly this season, certainly to start things off. So I have high hopes for both of these rosters moving forward in Group B. They're certainly going to be fighting for one of those top 4 spots, I would suspect. For me now, having a look at what we've got, knowing what Group B is made of, can't help but feel you've got Order up there towards the top, and everyone else, I want to see them fight it out to see who comes in, particularly for second seed.
Yeah, well, that's a big question at the moment, isn't it? I mean, toward the start of this season, before the season actually played out, I think I would have put Melbourne Mavericks in second seed for this group. I probably will still sort of stick by that.
But if that's the case, then you have to say, hey, Kanga, nice work then. If that's
nice
the case.
work. Well, I mean, everything's looking a little bit interesting toward the middle of the pack here. I think Order's quite far ahead. I think they're kind of head and shoulders above the rest here in Group B. No concerns for Order at the moment for me, but when you consider the match we saw between Heist and Freshman Class, Melbourne Mavericks and Kanga are pretty close right now, so I think all 4 of those should be pretty interesting. And Breakaway Esports, we haven't really got a great idea of how they're going to perform against the rest of the competition because they kind of got steamrolled by Order today. But against weaker teams, I think that they could even still have a bit of an impact on these standings. So even positions 2 to 6 for Group B are very, very closely matched, at least based on the matches that we've seen today. Route 66 will be the final map. And the final map where Kanga can try to get some pride.
Is that the second tie that we've had so far this week?
Yep.
With 2 ties in 2 days, only the first week of Overwatch Contenders Australia. This is already, I feel, closer than Season 1 and Season 2, to be perfectly honest. Yeah,
it is. There's no questions about it in my mind. Whether that is going to persist through the rest of the season, though, we obviously have yet to find out. While these teams sort of get themselves used to each other, start to synergize a little bit. Week 1 might be a bit messier than weeks 2, and then further on to 3, 4, and 5, things are going to get better and better. So we'll see the front runners start to find their advantages, and the other teams will start to lag behind if they're not putting the effort in. For now, though, Kanga Esports, all of their effort is going to be concentrated on finishing off Route 66 in their favor.
Yeah, look, there is absolutely nothing to indicate here that Kanga can't pick this up and do so in fine fashion. Let's see what Melbourne have to say about it. However, Kanga starting off on attack once again. Canda's going to be the first one going down. Davey brings one back. It's looking for more Lush. Great work back out here as well on the McCree, Jordan, which is what we saw from him earlier. Great to see. That's what we want. Hasn't been viable perhaps in some of the other maps. I'm ready for it now that we're on Route 66.
Such a satisfying sound and such a satisfying feeling getting the headshot kill.
Ding, ding, ding.
With the McCree. Not a bad start for Kanga Esports. They do force Melbourne back just a little bit. Comes the dive back in though. Davey leading the charge.
Lush holding back here once again, looking for more McCree picks. The payload has moved a little bit further than what we saw early on in some of the other Route 66 games so far this week. Not getting stuck, at least at the beginning. Perhaps now stuck at the first breach. However, Jordan, Melbourne going to push on through. All of their players nice and healed up for now. Everyone's still alive, and Oily going to find 2, make that 3 with Sad Boy getting demacked. I'm going to have to regroup back into the Panorama Diner and have another shot.
Very, very stable hold so far from Melbourne Mavericks. Haven't used a single ultimate just yet either.
Yeah.
Change up from Kanga Esports. Render will go onto the Farah. No accompanying Mercy this time, so Forbles. He gets the Discord on Render, is going to cause some problems. Here comes Grab.
Yeah,
here comes Lush.
Big Deadeye potential. Unfortunately, not big Deadeye results this time around. Davey going to pop the Primal Rage as well. Lush swapping across now to that Junkrat. We'll see has more effect already, up to 20% there on the Riptide, Jordan, after just coming out of the diner. But Melbourne still holding strong, at least for now. Oily going to get demeched. I don't think going to use the self-destruct either, so holding on to that.
Maybe he could have, and this fight could have turned around.
Yeah, maybe.
Right now, it's hard to say, though, as Melbourne Mavericks don't have the spawn advantage. Kanga Esports will come streaming back in, but a lot of time being wasted already. Kanga struggling to even get around the corner. Two big girls.
Yeah, Oily back in the mech once again, so maybe that was the right decision. The payload hasn't moved that far at all, just coming in for a service. Still plenty of space to try and stop it here before it gets to A. You can hear the nano boost coming through as well. I think that was onto the fire. It was. It's Render, uses the barrage, looking for kills, finds Nox, not bad. Stays alive for now, down to 50, down to 10. See you later. Oily gets that kill. Lush back across.
Fluoro's a maniac. He's gone charging right into the entire Kanga roster and almost gets out of there. Clipped by Sad Boy with the self-destruct on the end there, but goodness me, charging in like a crazy man. In the end, Kanga Esports will win the fight. Lush over onto the McCree, proving to be the difference again. Looks are swapped off as well. Don't know that Melbourne Mavericks are going to be able to set themselves up for a recontest here, but it looks like we do see Mini getting close by, just sitting right behind that billboard for now. He will push in for the contest if Melbourne do want to go for it, and they do indeed. Yeah,
going to try and make something of this here as they all come back through the tunnel. Self-destruct coming out from Melbourne as well. Whoa. Unfortunately, Oily caught out, does find Daly, but it's Lush with the Deadeye, picks up two, including Forble. Sad Boy brings some back. It's a 1-for-1 across the board. But in this sort of scenario, maybe it's going to go in Kanga's favour here, Elfishguy. Render stays alive for now. So close, goes down. Nox getting that kill.
Yeah, I should have said Render. That was the player I was talking about. He does eventually get dropped by Nox, and that might be the spanner in the works that is going to push Kanga over the edge and force them through to a position that is going to be almost undefendable. They can't make this overtime work by the looks of things. Cantus backing away, trying to survive. Someone's still contesting, but with that kill, I think, onto Render, it was just enough for the floodgates to open, and Melbourne Mavericks will hold strong. Not a single point capped up there by Kanga on their attack of Route 66, and if they want to get a map on the board now, Ben, they are going to have to post one hell of a defense.
That was definitely not what I'd hoped to see from Kanga, but to be fair, it's been a long and tough fight for them today, and things have not been going their way. So, look, I can give them a little bit of space here and say, you know what, I understand, I appreciate this this last map may not be, you know, may not be going their way either in the way that we expected. But Melbourne, on the other hand, they don't have to go very far here at all. They defended very well here on the first phase of Route 66, and now it's their turn to attack, and well, can't help but feel, Jordan, they're very close to making this a 3-0.
I agree. Lush is going to roll out on the Sombra. Widow might not have been a terrible choice for him here again, especially because we can see Nox there on the Widow himself. Again, hard to say until these teams actually walk out the spawn doors what exactly they are going to be playing. For Kanga, we have an idea, of course. Render again on the far up. But I feel that really does leave a lot of an opportunity for Melbourne Mavericks to actually build a counter pick, kind of a comp against this Farah. As soon as they see the Farah, it wouldn't be surprising to see Nox go onto the McCree or onto the Widowmaker.
Well, we'll see what they can do. I was ready for the Bastion. Unfortunately, not going to be the case, Jordan.
Widow, such a great counter to the Farah. See what Nox is going to be able to do here already.
Looking for a pick. Does a bit of damage to start things off. Everyone onto the payload. Kanga going to have to fight this one back out from Big Girls by the looks of things. Not coming across the top already. That's going to allow Melbourne an opportunity to get all across this payload like ants onto ice cream.
Render playing very safely at the moment already. Melbourne Mavericks have pushed further than Kanga did. What a great sleep dart out from Fluoro. Hits Render. And he's on the floor. No kill to come from it, but still forces him out of the fight for a little while. Davey down, Cantus down. Melbourne looking very good right now. Render at least brings it back, takes out Nox, looks to continue. It's very hard here for them to get rid of them. But yeah, it's going to be Forbles, the last hope. The support comes through, finds
both the air targets here, Jordan.
Yeah, you can't be flying around in the air like that. Obviously, he had to try and deep dive onto Nox, but unfortunately that put him so out of position, and 4Balls very, very strong on the Zenyatta. Aim on point, keeping Fluoro alive as well. And now one final attempt from Kanga Esports to find a map victory in this matchup. It's their last fight. If they don't make this one work, Melbourne Mavericks will secure the 3-0, and right now, that is exactly what is happening.
Yeah, this self-destruct should seal the deal. Everyone off the payload. Melbourne on top of it. They're going to secure themselves a 3-0. Undefeated here up against Kanga Esports. Look, I'm not going to say that the map results speak for themselves, because I think this was much closer than what the 3-0 indicates, but in the end, you got to grind it out, Jordan. That's precisely what the Melbourne Mavericks did.
They did in the end. Obviously, that final map not particularly close, so I think a lot of the fire in the belly of Kanga was lost after Horizon Lunar Colony did go the way of Melbourne Mavericks. They were like, oh, whatever, the series is done.
Yeah.
Let's just, I guess, take a chill a little bit here. Regardless, though, very nice stuff from Melbourne Mavericks. Continuing that form through from toward the end of Season 2. Remember this Serenity roster, there was questions about would they have even been considered maybe top 4 had they been in Group A instead of Kanga.
Yeah.
They were able to get through to playoffs in what was Group B, kind of the group of death in a sense, able to be the first team to actually take a map off of Sydney Drop Bears last season as well, doing what a few other teams were not able to do. And continuing that here into Season 3, for Melbourne Mavericks, I'm really interested in watching how the rise of this roster is going to go. Are they really going to hit that peak? Are they going to be as strong as we're sort of hyping them up to be, or giving them that potential to be? It's always going to be found out in the next 4 weeks.
Well, that's it. That's the I guess, the greatness of this sort of group stage, right? You start off, you can see head-to-head how teams are going. It's the start of the season. How much can you take away from this? You don't really know just how strong everyone is, particularly when the rosters have changed so much. But as you can see there, Melbourne, a big 3-0. Horizon Lunar Colony, what an incredible map that was.
Yeah, definitely one of the longest matches we've seen on Horizon Lunar Colony in AU Contenders at the very least. Looking at the question marks that we had around Melbourne Mavericks for coming into this season, obviously losing Exotic, adding Winter, how was that going to play out? Seems to be going pretty good. Again, we're not so sure as to how much the DPS players are necessarily going to have an impact actually when it comes to the GOATS composition, as opposed to the meta that we did see in Season 2, which was much more Widow, Hanzo oriented. But so far doesn't seem like to be too much of a problem for Melbourne Mavericks. They've continued on where they left off, and how far they're going to be able to continue on is just the question that I have for this Melbourne Mavericks roster. For Kanga Esports, still a lot of work to be done. Obviously, coming into that one, they were able to keep it close against Melbourne Mavericks, but you know, there's still a lot of teams within this group that could be potentially close by where Kanga is, and still a chance for them to nab a playoff spot.
Yeah, a lot to play for across the season, looking to make that top 4 for sure. But for now, Jordan, we have one last Macca's play of the game for this week. Let's take a look at what it is. A McDonalds Australia play of the game between Kanga Esports and the Melbourne Mavericks. No surprise, it's going to be another Zarya play, Jordan. It's Nox. Look at this one.
Yeah, doing quite a lot of work here in this little fight. Nox able to take down both of the supports, catching the both off in the grab, and then also, I think, finishing off the remaining couple of players there as well. Nicely done from Nox.
Yeah.
Pretty interestingly placed Graviton Surge as well.
No, but I like it, right? So often you'll see people going for the big plays, looking for the big 5-man, 6-man stack with the Graviton Surge, but really, you know, all you need to do is eliminate 1 or 2 enemies, and that gives you the advantage, particularly when you're trying to get onto that very last point. So great play from Nox. Another great Zarya play. We've seen Zarya time and time again this week in the play of the game.